8.1. It's time for us to talk business with Rotus. Hi, Rotus. What's up?
Good morning, Valentine. Good morning to our darling listeners.
Good morning. And good morning to you, Dilly.
Good morning.
Yes, Dele
Welcome.
Akintola of Stanbic is with us today. Good morning, Dele. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Join the conversation on WhatsApp. Send a message to 0809 That is our WhatsApp number, 0809 We're live on YouTube, so you can watch us live in the studio, as well as leave messages through Twitter at Smooth981FM with the hashtag BusinessExpress981.
Thank you, sir. So, the market, another blockbuster performance yesterday. This time, the market was up by 3.07% yesterday, blasting past the 30,000 mark at 31,145 points. Dangote Cement and MTN, of course, were the main drivers of that as of yesterday. Just this month alone, the market is up by 6.8%. Now, as far as year to date, the losses have now moderated all the way down. They're still in the negative zone, but it's just 0.91%. So another positive appreciation above that margin, and we're positive for the year. And we're going to be talking about that with Dilly. So yeah, MTN was the top gainer. Law Union Rock Insurance was the top loser. But we did have just 12 gainers on the exchange, 28 losers. And in fact, the only sector I believe that was positive was the industrial goods, which was probably driven by Dangote Cement. So Dilly, let's start there. Maybe we can try to make sense of this thing. It seems like these are the only two stocks that were really pushing the market, and all the others were falling by the wayside. What's your rationale for that activity on the market?
Okay, so if you look at the market, we had been at negative 10%,
Right.
earlier in the year. I think when we're having outlook conversations with our clients earlier in the year, we had said we have a negative outlook on the market. I mean, I think I was an outlier, around that, because most of the other brokers in the market had come to say post-elections market should rally 20%, and I thought otherwise.
Right.
And that's driven by the fact that we don't see growth. GDP remains at 2%. We don't think that some structural adjustments have been done, like subsidy removal, making sure the power sector industry is cost reflective. But anyways, when we move away from that, what we've seen in the market right now has really been an MTN magic.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's taking and wiped out 10%, almost 9% of losses
Right.
so far. We've seen MTN as well catch up and obviously as well take up some of those losses. What is still worrying for investors really is the fact that the banking sector is taking a massive beating.
Right.
We think that ultimately what we see is locally, it's very likely that certain investors are obviously trying to raise capital to buy MTN. It's very possible that they are probably selling some positions,
Right.
lighting up there to see if they can move money around to partake of this part of this MTN magic
That's been happening. So selling, so possibly selling shares in other stocks in order to try and buy in there. Okay. Can you help us define cross trades? Because there's been a lot of talk about it. As far as the MTN shares being moved around, cross trades between parties that have been going on the exchange for the stock.
Okay. So what is the exchange? The exchange is a place where buyer and seller can meet, right? Who is a broker? A broker is someone who's supposed to be in the middle there to help both buyers and sellers meet.
Right.
Okay. So where as a broker, as Stanbic IBC stockbrokers, if we find a buyer, okay, who's willing to pay X price,
Right.
we find a seller who's willing to pay the same X price, okay, what we do is bring them to the market and exchange shares in their name.
Okay.
Okay. Now that cross could be within market range, which is usually plus or minus 10%, or it could be at a price which is outside of the market range.
Right.
Okay. So as an example, we executed trades in MTN at 125.
Okay.
Where the stock hadn't even gotten to 125. The market was at 108.
Right.
But what we saw there was we had two buyers, one buyer, one seller who had agreed a price and obviously to the market to exchange the shares. And we're just there to facilitate that process.
Excellent. Now, speaking of that, you doing it at 125 while it was at 108, it closed at 140 yesterday. Me and Valentine were shouting here in the studio when it was at 131. Valentine, this thing is at 144 now. So MTN has now jumped, I think it's 60% or so since Thursday. Dilly, how much further do you think this can go as far as this price appreciation?
So MTN opened at 90, but no trade happened there. The first trade was at 99. Okay, we moved on to a higher level,
right,
and we're now at 144. I think the certain things here for me is they're professional investors, pension funds, international money managers who look at telcos across the world, right? So I would think from an Africa perspective, when you look at Africa pairs, okay, the average Africa pay valuation for telco in Africa is about 5 times EBITDA.
You have to help us out with that.
So EV is enterprise value of the
Okay.
company versus over the EBITDA.
Okay.
Right, that's about 5 times. When you go you go to emerging markets, right? Most of the telco players, they trade at about 5.3, 5.5 times EBITDA.
Okay.
Okay, what we've seen is there's a lot of conversation I'm having with people, and they're saying they want to sell MTN at 180. Okay, at 180, we're talking about 8 times
That
EBITDA.
valuation, right?
Okay, the only telco companies that I know that trade at that level is Safaricom in Kenya,
Okay.
and Maroc Telecom in Morocco.
Okay.
Safaricom is the poster child for telco,
Right.
and that's because it has a great product, which is M-Pesa, which drives financial inclusion, which drives mobile money. And if you go to Kenya, you see people pay for beer, for whatever,
Right.
using M-Pesa.
With their phones,
Okay,
yeah.
I can't justify the reason. I don't justify why I think MTN should trade at the same trading multiple
As Safaricom,
today,
right?
largely because there is no mobile money business. Okay.
Okay.
There is a promise of PSB
Payment service, right.
that's coming.
Yeah.
Okay. MTN's applied for it, but I can't pay for value in the future. Okay. So I think 180 for me is quite lofty.
Right.
And I think when you look at the market, when we're coming from Thursday when the market listed, we saw 200 million market for 10 minutes. We saw 200 million shares on bid on field at the close of market.
And the bid, of course, for our listeners is people who are bidding to
buy,
but
right? Could not get you not get shares. They didn't get filled on Thursday.
Okay.
On Friday we saw about 279 million on the board on field on Friday. Okay. When we got to Monday, as the price went up, we saw that dropped to about 151 million.
Okay.
Okay. By Tuesday, that was down to 40 million. As at yesterday, it was down to 11 million.
Okay.
So my question is, so I'm looking forward to the trading session today to say, okay, do we think, rational, will people get rational about this pricing?
Right.
Or will people keep taking the market to
levels not seen?
Exactly. I think that ultimately there are a lot of people who want to sell and are willing to sell at 180. But I always I have this thing: leave money on the table for the next investor.
Right.
Okay?
So again, for the people who have been saying they can't get their hands on it, I mean, I've my own bid forget my own bid since Thursday hasn't been filled. So for small, I see. Oh, you see that? Also for small individuals like myself, exactly. It seems like it's a large.
I because Stanbic IBTC and Stanbic Capital were advising on transaction, right? I have a blackout period, or I'm quarantined for the next.
Okay, so you can buy, obviously, right.
From best practice and compliance perspective.
Right.
Yes.
So would I have to? Okay, so at 144 now, obviously, would I have to bid at 150 or 160 to have any chance of being able to entice an investor to sell to me?
I think the trading session today will be interesting.
Yeah.
To see if people would actually,
how much money they can throw.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see who has the mind. If you have the mind, you have the money. Come to the market.
Like everybody said, you have liver. Throw the money. Let's see.
Let's see what happens.
I think that today, there might be some level of resistance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that again, professional money is taking part and being part of this price rally. I think a lot of them have dropped off.
Okay.
I just think that the value is not there anymore. I don't see international investors partaking in this. So this is really and effectively a local driven, sentimental.
Right.
I don't think anyone's really looking at the fine detail, which is looking at the valuation in detail and saying, okay.
Well, guys, I'm curious though. Can this rally can it be I won't say thrown. Can it be influenced just to suit the interest of a certain few?
It's not about. I don't think so. What's market? Okay. Market is demand and supply, right?
Right.
As long as demand, I just talked you through the demand.
Yes.
Demands, it's simple economics, right?
Right.
Demands,
higher than supply, then
it will just go up.
What is the listing by introduction, right? What's happened is MTN has come to put itself on the NSE the way its shareholder structure is. Based on the NSE rules, they are not compelled to sell down their stake, especially because there is promise that they will be doing a capital raise in the future.
Right.
Okay. So the only provider of liquidity in MTN today are existing shareholders before they got listed.
Right.
And so you can understand that people like the company and are probably not willing to let go of the shares that quickly. So that explains the I don't think it's a case of manipulation. It's just
It's just what it is.
It's just what it is. All right.
And this, we'll have a message from Andrew. Andrew sent in this one from Victoria Island. He said, I think the rise of MTN shares has maxed the poor showing of other counters. This is not a market rally, but an MTN rally. OBJ from Lekki Aja says, I just find it interesting when people call Aja Lekki.
I know, right?
He says, let MTN and its cronies continue to manipulate the exchange in Nigeria. The Security and Exchange Commission is looking and supporting this mess.
No, BJ, no, we disagree. It's simple economics, man. No, but I mean, I guess, yeah. I think people, again, is they might, maybe it's a lack of understanding. Folks just, the simple fact that so many people can't get their hands on it, that's why they think.
I can understand.
Yeah, exactly. I get it.
This is the kind of trade that gets me a house in Ikoyi. Right? It's enough 60%.
Yeah, exactly. That's how well. That's how well.
So why would the stock exchange not continue to crumble? Impunity of the highest magnitude. OBJ, calm down.
OBJ, I feel his pain.
Christian says, Dele, what's happening with Dan scam?
Dangote Cement. So that also rallied yesterday. I mean, okay. Any explanation behind that?
I can speak to our side of the business. We've seen decent flow, left buyer and seller in the market. So we've been able to match trades. We saw obviously a very late tick up in the name yesterday that took it up 10%.
Okay. And it looks like MTN is what? 200 million or 200 billion away from overtaking Dangsem as the most capitalized stock on the exchange. Yeah, I think they're catching up slowly.
At the current trend.
Yeah.
Maybe Dangote rallied
yesterday.
So
okay.
We've talked about two things here.
Right.
Do we think MTN moves again today? Okay.
We'll have to see.
Because there was a projection I saw on social media. Somebody was saying at 8% or thereabouts that the current rate right now. If it continues like that for another 3-4 days,
it should overtake
Absolutely.
it. Interesting.
And then somebody says, dude, please stop this breakdance. The existing shareholders are the manipulators and shame on NSC for allowing this phony structure.
Oh, Papi K.
So how can all the powers that be in the hands of existing shareholders? Come on, bro. Nobody's frustrated. Just hates being taken for a ride.
Papi K is introduction. Dele has already explained it. Just go and just read it. Papi K, if you were an investor and you were one of the early investors, would you sell at the current price? In fact, Papi K, send another message and tell me what price you sell at. So, and put yourself in the shoes of the investors that currently hold the
I'd
shares.
like to be in Victor Dele's shoes.
You know?
But well done.
Yeah, well done. Okay, Dele of Stanbic, thank you so much for joining us and explaining this.
Oh, by the way, Dele, Daniel is one of the proponents of you coming back on the show.
Yeah, he said you should bring him on another time. So let's see if I can bring him on Monday.
Happy to come back.
Excellent stuff, Dele. Thank you so much.
All right, tune in always at 6:45 to 7 o'clock, especially the young men that I was talking with yesterday at office.
Yeah.
Love the show.
Right.
Tune in every day. Check out Rotus on Twitter at Rotanquote, ROTANKWOT. You have to pay me for spelling it out.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll settle you with MTN shares if I get my hands on it.
That would be nice. Thank you, Dele. Coming up next, we'll have an exciting conversation about how to use tech to influence or fuel your hustle. Stay with us.
Business trends beyond the headlines.